There are a few rules to remember about how to use your TheraBand, okay? The first is that if you've got 2 points of tension and you were to say send your foot up into the band, that third point of tension equally makes tension. That third point equally makes tension. It shouldn't just be all about the pull of your arms, because then you're not necessarily going to do anything with your leg. The other 2 rules are pretty self-explanatory. The closer in you grip, the more tensity that you will pull, and the tighter the band will be. The wider you grip apart, the less tensity, the easier it is. Also remember that we've cut your bands very long, so if you really need more support and more tension, just double the band over, which is useful when you do some of the leg work, because you feel like you really can stand and have spring work like you would if you were in the studio. So we're starting this first segment with mat work, basic mat work that you can do with your band to warm up, cool down, or just, keep yourself moving. So she's got a decent amount of width in her arms, and she can start with just an easy pull open from the shoulders, spreading the collarbone wide, taking an inhale, and an exhale coming back together. And an easy pull, and as you are pulling open away from center, the abs contract in towards center, keeping a reference to your center line. Inhaling open, and exhale, close. This can also become an easy, light pulsing apart. Good. And that pulse can move upward towards the head, which is going to make you have to work your rotation, making sure your ribs don't pop, keeping reference into center. You can work the pulse of the arms down. And as they come down towards the legs, the weight of the arms shifting makes you have to work all the muscles of your shoulder girdle differently. Good. And just one more set, reaching back. And your breathing just stays easy and rhythmic, in through the nose, out through the mouth. But every exhale is that gathering, centering contraction of your abs. Good. Curve and bringing the arms back up, keeping a nice, easy, stable pull. You can look at some of your fundamental pre-Pilates work, knee folding, lifting one knee to your chest, focusing on stability, other leg to your chest. Always one leg at a time, one leg down, and then the other leg down. You can do a few sets of those, again, one leg at a time, otherwise you're going to feel your back grab the way to your legs. We in class, parallel, specifically did toe taps, where you reach the toe and keep one leg to you, swiftly change. Where you place the arms, the harder it's going to be if you move it towards your head, because you have to work to keep the ribs contained. The lower they go towards your knees, the easier it's going to be to keep the rib cage, harder it is to stay out of those pecs and shoulder grab. And straighten both legs in. And then you can reach the legs out and feel what it feels to have legs reaching away from center, arms reaching away from center, but center itself contained. And then go ahead and let the arms reach back behind you. Drop the band. Just drop it. Bring your arms down by your side, curve up into your 100, and arms up. And that's one way to get into your 100. Another way, she could have just bent her knees and put the band over her legs, so it would have been down here, and then she can take that same easy pull and up and down. You have the ability to vary it any way that you want to, so you don't have to do the same thing every day. Lower your legs just a little bit, because hey, you're you. Good. And then bend both knees in. Go ahead and take the band around the feet and give a pull. I like to always grab down by the ankles at first, and go ahead and roll your head down for a moment. Keep your knees to your chest. I want to add in an idea of footwork, that you find the tension of the band. Sorry if I keep saying spring. Spring, band, band, spring, same thing. Reach the legs up, out, away. Find tension. Find the back of the legs work into. If it's too much tension, just let it feed. If it's not enough, double band or reach up higher. Now, you could just easily bend your knees and not make it an exercise. Or do you pull the weight of the band into you and press out, and feeling how you have to keep reaching oppositionally. You could easily let all of you fall down with your legs, but if you do, then you know you're not going up to get down. You're not going down to get up. Good, just doing one more, reach out. Good, and now we're going to go into our variations of your roll up. Reach the legs up and out. Let the hands feed and let some slack come through the strap. Good, 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 good. Begin to lower the legs down. Letting your elbows stretch with you. The arms can move. Now, to get the legs down without the arch of the back happening, go ahead, start curving up into your 100. Let the legs finish the rest of their way down. Good. Now, teeter back. I like to call this one the teeter-totter, where the degree of bend in your elbows is up to you. You're not, yep. Just go to where it's really tough. If you wanted to lay all the way back down, you could. And then totter back forward. And one more. Just getting this feeling of the torso coming one way, the standing and reaching out into the band going another way allows you to keep a solid shape that is still pliable. One more, and how the weight of the ends of the body can work out through center. Look at that teeth. Look at that. Now to go into the actual roll-up, keep the legs down, start rolling the pelvis, the arms begin to stretch. And in class, we focused on keeping the legs down and just stopping in that 100 curve. And then reaching into, and if the knees bend is cool, but try not to let your feet come up. Good, and back. Good, and one more up. Oh, yes, every day's a different day. Every day's a different day. And then you may also roll all the way back. I technically just lied to you because our next is our one leg stuff, so you gotta come back up one more time. Good. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Now we went into some one leg variations. So one foot stays into the band, and you take that same teeter idea except with one leg. And then hold the torso. Keep it scooped and lifted. Leg presses out, down, away. The arms can straighten, which will give you a little bit of slack in the tension of the band, or they can keep a bend that you just have to keep standing into the tension of the band, therefore. And reach down, out, away. Good, and lift, lift, lift. And reach down, out, away. And lift, lift, lift. And one more. You could then take this and turn it into your hamstring stretch. Roll all the way down. Torso comes down. Keep the leg reaching out. Find Pilates feet. Good. Elbows wide. And you can take your hamstring stretch here that we worked at the end of class. Little add-on. You can do a little guided single leg circle. Crossing over, down, around. Keeping pelvis still. One more this direction. Good. And then reversing. Open, down, around, cross. Just your little add-on to that exercise. And last one. And make sure you do your other leg, but for time, we're going to skip the other leg. And then just bring yourself on up for your rolling like a ball. And for your rolling like a ball, we took the band, held it underneath the back of the knees. And she's going to double it because she's like, I want more tension. Oh, yes, I do. Now, where you grip doesn't particularly matter in terms of, are my arms going to work? But if you grip underhanded, you're going to get more pec work. More bicep work and pec challenge. So you can't just pull with your pecs, right? If you grab overhanded, it's going to be more back of the shoulder, back of the arm to stay away from your pec. So Tuesday do one, Wednesday do another. It's a different day. And you find you're rolling like a ball balance. And you inhale, rock back, and keep that lift and keep that pull of the band. Yes. And inhale, rock back. And exhale, home. And inhale, rock back. And exhale, home. Good, and one more. Inhale, rock back. I will talk about repetitions in a little bit. And home. Then we did your spine stretch forward. Legs stretched out in front of you. To use the band, you can keep it between the hands. There's a few places you can use the band in this exercise. If you keep it in your hand, you're going to keep an easy pull. And as you inhale tall and exhale to curve forward, you keep that easy pull. Don't let your neck get too involved. And stretch through what your shoulders are doing with the band. As you stack up, you're rolling up one bone at a time. And again, curve forward. Good. Now while you're there, since you're flexible, flex your feet. Loop the band around your feet. As you stack up, give a pull. Feeling how the abs have to bring you, wow, that was fun. Do that again. If you want to keep tension in the band, you'll have to bend the elbows as you go over. If you want to let slack happen and only feel the tension on the way up, totally cool, it's your day. And pull, pull, pull. And then we did a challenging class of your open leg rocker prep. She's like, oh, I was hoping you'd forget that one. So what would it take? One, it would take a lot of tension on the band. Two, curve, scoop. Could you reach? And it's like the teeter-totter again, but with both legs apart, and it's so much harder. You could do outer hip pulses here as well. Pulse, and wow, don't let your low back dance, right? Good. That is so hard. And totter back on forward. Whee. And we're going to add in the side kicks to this segment as well. So for the side kicks, and again, we're only going to do one leg at a time. You lay on your right side, face the camera. Your right side. So you make a loop, and whenever you're doing something with one foot, it's easiest to really wrap the band around so you don't feel like the band's going to roll. Grab a hold. The legs are forward on an angle so that you are really isolated in that hip socket. Now finding a feeling of reach. You can go ahead and stretch it out underneath the bar. Yeah, let's try to use that. Good. So you reach into the band, still, and lift up to the side and bring it down. Right now she's in parallel. It's going to get outer glute and outer thigh. The minute you rotate into Pilates V, which would angle the knee and toes towards the ceiling, you're going to activate deep gluteal rotator muscles. Yes. And one more. And we did circles. Little forward, up, around. Good. Make sure it goes to the back. And reverse the circle. Yes. And we also did an easy pulling of the leg front, which the band helps you just enough. Then as you come back, the band is your resistance. Try not to go higher than hip height, whether you're going front or back. Also, don't drop it lower than hip height as you go front or back. Good. And one more front. Good. And back. Good. And release that. Go ahead and let that come out of there. Now, one little bonus thing that you can do, which we didn't do in class because I didn't want to take the time. If you would like to tie your band and make it a circle, and all you have to do is put a little double knot in it, or if you have a shorter band previously that you've been using in your house before you received this longer band, grab that, and just always keep it in a little loop. Bend your knees, come around. Yeah, this one's much tighter, right? And as you, with the knees bent, but feet still in line with hips, hips still in line with shoulders, now it's like you made your own Suzanne Summer Thigh Master, and look at that. You can really target those deep six rotators. Really target, yep, and don't let any rolling happen. Good. Super fun. Squeeze at the bottom. Last one. Good. And rest. So in terms of repetitions, in standard classical mat work, your 100 would have 10 breaths. Inhaling and exhale means 1. So 10 breath cycles. Your roll-up, 5 to 8 of them. Your single leg circle work would be 5 each direction. Since we added in variations, 5 to 8 of each variation. Rolling like a ball is 10 repetitions. Your spine stretch forward is 5 repetitions. Your side kicks would be 8 repetitions of each variation. Now that's a huge workout, okay? If you just wanted to pick certain exercises to do, maybe you experiment with doing a few more reps just because you're going to do 2 or 3 of the exercises. If you're going to do all of the exercises, then not too many reps of every exercise. Now we are going to look at the sitting and the kneeling arm work that we worked on in class. So when you sit on the band, the closer in towards your hips, the more tension you're going to have, the farther out, easier. Also, if you decide to track elbows close into the body and straight up and down, you get one part of the shoulder girdle. And we started with just simply up and down. Yes, there you go. And if you want to reach elbows out away from the body as you move, that is going to target a different set of the shoulder girdle. Right. There's up and there's down. There is also out and into the side. And when you go to your side, being careful to go forward a little bit in your peripheral. If you go too behind you, you're going to get that splay of the ribs, which we know, we've already talked about. You don't do that. Right? And I'm reaching. Right. We did what I like to call a little snow angel. As you reach out to the side, you can lift up with straight arms and down, which again is a very different sense of weight. Don't collapse in your upper back as the arms come down. Good. Right. You can do one arm up, one arm down. Making sure that the stalk of your spine stays centered. Don't let it become a teetering, tottering in your rib cage. You already did your teeter-totter somewhere else. Then we did the cheerleader. So both arms start bent. One arm goes up. It opens out to the side. The other arm goes up. It opens out to the side. And again, keeping rotation and twist out of the rib cage. And then if you can, reverse it. Wow, she did it! She did it! She did it! Yay! That's really, really, really hard. And take an easy rest for your shoulders. So you can take the up, down, out to the side. You can go forward as well. We'll get to the tricep back work in just a minute. Right? And then we also did a breathing exercise with the band where it comes wide across the back of your rib cage. And as you think, and you grab inward towards your ribs. And as you think inhale, you expand the rib cage in the band laterally. As you think exhale, you contract into center, growing up taller. Inhale, going, reaching and reaching, keeping the collarbone as wide as the shoulder blades. So you don't get to narrow the pecs, you don't get to squeeze and narrow the shoulder blades. Everything keeps wide, and then we varied it with a reach out with an inhale. Exhale, abs contract, pull in towards you. Inhale, lift open. And exhale, come closed. Hey, girl. And one more, inhale, open. And exhale, close. And one more. Good. And then we go on to the kneeling work. Anything done on your knees in Pilates is a challenge for the tightness of your hip flexor psoas in relationship to strength in your glute and in your hamstrings. The tighter you are in your hip flexors, the harder it is to maintain a feeling of openness to the front of the hip, which can't come from the idea of your gym teacher saying just throw your pelvis forward. You actually have to engage muscle in the back of you, find a sense of coming into center even though your knees are apart. Don't let yourself hang out on your outer hips and IT bands. Pull into center, open by using muscles in the back, and find a sense of being tall just like you did when you were sitting. The same rule of grabbing in by the knees will give you more tensity. You can do the same arm work you did sitting of reaching up, elbows forward, reaching out, the snow angel. You can even do the cheerleader here again, giving it more intense work in your hamstrings and your glutes. What we focused on was lateral work in the class, where one arm reaches up, and then you reach out over to the side, not falling into the band, but bringing the band up your waist, coming back up. You can either bend the elbow down or reach it out to the side. Other side, up over. Oh, that feels good. Coming up, you can either again bend out wide or take it to the side. We then added in a reaching the arm up, side bending over, bringing the band with you, bottom arm reaching out away, picking up both sides of the waist, reaching out or bending down, your choice. Other side, out away, bringing the band around that waist, coming up. This is so much harder to do when you're talking at the same time, and open out to the side. We also took the idea of reach out, over, and then keeping the arms straight as you go side to side, keeping tension in both sides of the band, not letting one collapse, and out. We then did some twisting work, allowing the spine to rotate against the stable pelvis as the arms lift, pull around, and down. Reach, twist, not letting it all pelvis go with you. Try to keep your pelvis aiming front. Spiral. You could keep the arms up and open as you twist. Pull up through center. Open as you twist. Pull up through center. Whichever one you want to do, make sure you do the same to both sides. Again, try and keep the pelvis as still as possible, but it might wiggle around a little bit. The standing work that we did in class, I'm going to show you side on so you can really see what I mean about standing on your legs and not falling back on your heels or in your ankles. Stand on the band, and the same idea, the lower down you grab, the more tension you're going to have. Start by simply rolling up and standing up. You can do an easy pulling up, elbows out wide. You can do a reaching forward, not letting the weight rock back and forth. Oh, reaching back. If you grab the band the other way with your grip, more of an underhanded grip, that again is going to change how your shoulders respond to what you're doing. You're expanding the rules of what you did laying down, sitting down, and kneeling. You cannot let yourself get shorter as you feel tension in the band. What we also did in class was take a curving over to really hook and scoop the abs up. Then as you take a pulling back, feel like it scoops your abs up with, not pulls you down, and back down. You can do elbows bent straight back. You could bend them back out to the side. You can get good tricep work pulling back and up. Meanwhile, not letting pelvis rock around. You can curve forward all the way down, get a stretch, and here's where the challenge is, not falling. Go to where you go. As you come up comes the tension in the band, very similar to the spine stretch forward that you did lying down, curving forward. You can take anything in that curve to really get those abs, and you can see them. Are they doing anything, or are they working? You can go back and forth. Again, making sure also that your neck isn't crunched. You can make up anything that you want to do within the principles of scoop your abs and stay atop your legs properly. We also then worked some of the standing footwork. Now I'm going to hop back and face you. Boom. All right? Takes a little bit of coordination to wrap your foot around. All right? Again, wrapping the foot like you did in your side kicks. You can get as much tension on the band as you please. Going out from center with the arms will also challenge it. I don't feel like much of a challenge right now. Going forward without kicking. Reaching out to the side. Reaching back. This is not so much an exercise for the leg that you're moving. It's an exercise for the leg you're standing on. Do not let the pelvis shift and flip about, because then all of you is going to go. Again, you've got front, you can go side, you can go back, you can do an easy kick front, kick back. You can also do an easy circling action and reverse. I really feel that all in my outer standing hip, my inner thigh, and my hamstring of my standing leg. Your working leg really is just moving through space. You're going to get work in it because of the tension in the band, but again, you should feel it on your standing side. Okay? I'm going to give you a little bonus of what I like to call your standing star. You stand wide on the band, a little bit wider than pelvis, width with your feet. Stretch the arms up and out. Not letting this happen. Can you find that rotation without letting the pelvis fall? If it does, it's going to feel like one side of the band gets very considerably more slack than the other side. Try to keep equal tension. Then, here comes the star, keeping tension on both sides. Pivot, reach. This is where you start to lose tension on the bottom band. lifting up tension through both sides. Come back up. Twist. Keep tension on that arm reaching down as long as you can, but it will lose, but don't lose this tension because that's me falling outwards. And up and untwist. To the left. Reach. Up. Untwist. To the left. Right. Left. You know, whichever side. Do both. Over. And up. Turning back to the side. We also worked flat backs. So we first did your curving work, you're rolling down, you're pulling. Now, an idea that the pelvis stays over the feet. As the spine reaches forward, there's a stopping point so you don't fall back. Here, this is work for the abs, supporting the pitch of the spine forward. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit because I can feel my knees locking. Right? And again, you can take all the same arm work back and up, keeping a nice straight spine, abs supporting. You can do biceps. You can get at every part of your arms here. The more over you are, the more challenge it is. You can also take, here's a fun one, the breathing work you did sitting, inhaling out, exhaling as you come forward without dropping everything. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, reaching up, reaching out away, thinking of growing taller. Notice that is not a big movement for me because I am tight in my mid back today. I will fall back. And I'm going to give you one more bonus we did not do in class. If you take your band, tie it in a loop, and tie it around something heavy, I don't know, couch, your husband, kids, something. Anchor it, right? Stand inside the loop with one leg. Center yourself off. If you want to hold on to something for balance, great. If you don't, more balance test. Hold back. Again, standing leg does not wiggle about. This is going to be more work for your standing leg now than the one where you were just standing with both hands holding the strap. When you're facing the band, you can go back. You can go out. You can also come back and across. Out. Then you can face forward. You can go front and back. Front, not letting it pull you, and back. This is the one where you can really cross. Front, cross, get your inner thigh, which we didn't talk a whole lot about. This is the best inner thigh one that we've got out of that class. Back, cross, center, front, cross, center, back, cross, center. Then face away. And you can go front, you can cross again if you want to. So with the judges, and center. You can go out. That was really hard, by the way. Really hard. You can't go back because you had no tension. You got front, and you can add in crossing. All stretching in Pilates implies that you have to use your abs and that you must reference center while trying to remain square. Shoulders, pelvis, even and level. To get a hamstring stretch, you can double the band if you want to, I prefer to, so that you have a good point of tension with that leg. It's not about just throwing your leg to your face, because as you can see, I am not square now. Squaring the pelvis is going to bring the leg down to 90. It coming closer to my face is not necessarily going to give me the stretch. Standing up into the band, as I evenly pull, I got a little bit too much tension, so I'm going to feed out. As the leg comes up, the pelvis keeps its equal square and ground. Doing parallel gets one side of the hamstring. Pilates gets another. An easy hamstring stretch. You should feel your back lengthening from your ab work coming together. And then you can, take that IT band stretch. Not letting yourself fall. Not letting yourself collapse your neck and shoulder on the one side. Keeping your head center as much as possible. This is a great one to do as part of the mat work when we did that lifting, teeter-tottering place. You then, like I said, could evolve it into a single leg circle. So that is, see, even I get the shakes. Piriformis and hip sockets tend to get really tight. So that is where all I did was just say, all right, we're going to cross everything in. I personally don't need the band to pull inward, still thinking abs gathered, trying to get everything up this outer hip. It can take a little twist over, thinking of separating the outer hip from the pelvis itself. If you cannot get here or even here without your whole neck and shoulders and chest doing one of these guys, that is where your TheraBand becomes your arm extender to help you in any of the stretching. We also took the idea of a straddle stretch because inner thighs need work. If your legs are apart and you're in parallel, knees up to the ceiling, there's only going to be so far your body is ever going to let your legs go outward. It is because everybody's structure of your femur and your pelvis, everybody is different, and depending on how your bone structure is, depends on how you get to go. Right? When you're in turnout, you can go farther. But the reality is this: the legs want that grounding down into the back of the legs feeling. I personally like to start with pressing up, engaging things, sitting down, and not letting go. Abs are up. Keeping sits bones grounded. Curving forward, not letting it all fall. Going where you get. Outer hips, outer glutes are pulling open to pull the inner thighs open. It is not the weight of you collapsing that gets your inner thighs to stretch. It is the oppositional muscles pulling. You may take over to the side, but do not let up. If you want to take what we call the 3/4, it is when you would take an easy spiral and reach toward that diagonal line of the inner thigh. But again, this doesn't get to fall. Outer hip, outer glute, as well as hamstring keeping ground. And come back center and up. Great one to do to combat having sitting in the car, going to the beach, and all of that stuff.